It's three-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl champion Keyshawn Johnson. I want to introduce you to my new show, All Facts, No Breaks. I'll be giving you the real reactions to the latest sports news and inviting guests in the sports and entertainment world to break it all down. Tune in and make sure you listen and subscribe on Spotify.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
Today, we're going to talk with Tatiana and how our podcast records in booty clubs and in doctor offices. I hope you enjoy. All right, I hope you are having a fantastic day. Again, my name is Jeremy Quintanilla. I am the co-founder and CFO of 3T Warrior Academy. I'm also the co-founder and CEO of a business I have called Age of Radio, which is a media company that has a podcast network. We also have a fantastic place where everybody can hang out. But before I talk about that, just make sure that wherever you're listening to this podcast, go ahead and like it, subscribe to it. And if it allows you to rate the podcast, make sure that you rate that podcast for me, please, because it will help get it in the hands of more and more people, or in front of more and more people. That's how we can grow and change lives, or just help them with whatever it is that I'm talking about for that day. So, and also too, make sure that you go over to all the social media places, on Snapchat, on Twitter, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Triller, and type in Age of Jeremy and subscribe. Except for on Twitter, it's Age of Jeremy Q. You can also check out the YouTube at Age of Jeremy, which we should be getting some more videos up here shortly. I have just been focusing on revamping the content that's coming out on this podcast. So that's why we haven't been focusing so much on that YouTube channel. But today I have a special guest. Her name is Tatiana. She's not a guest on the podcast. I have a Facebook group that I was mentioning. It's called Addicted to Podcasting. It's actually from our media company, Age of Radio. And inside of that podcast, or inside of that Facebook group, we allow content creators to share their ideas, share their stories. Anybody can come in and join so the audience can learn about content creators. And one of the shows that I do inside of that Facebook group is called Showcase. And the way that it's designed is anybody can be on it. They don't have to be a part of our Age of Radio podcast network. It just so happens that today's guest, Tatiana, or the recording that I'm playing from the Showcase show today, Tatiana was actually, or is actually on our podcast network. So, but inside that group, we have over 400 members, close to 500 members. So it'd be great if you want to head on over there and join. There is a link inside of the episode description. And essentially, like I said, if you have a podcast or you have a YouTube channel or whatever, you can come in and share that. And I reach out to people once a month to do these showcases. This one was from a couple of months ago. I'm going to be highlighting them here on this podcast so we can get even in front of even more people. And so in this podcast, or in this showcase episode, it's a live stream that goes to the Facebook group, and we talk about Tatiana's I guess health struggles that she had throughout her life, how she got into podcasting. She has a very unique show. A lot of it's adult oriented, so I do have to give a warning that there is going to be, I would recommend that someone be 18 years old to fully listen to it, or maybe I guess probably you could be 13. There's nothing really very graphic in it. But she does host her podcast at strip clubs and adult entertainment venues. And then also, but she has lots of friends in where she's at in Florida. So she has other people that aren't just adult oriented that come in and talk on the show. But that's how it really started. It's a very big show. It's continuously growing, and she is doing a fantastic job. So without further ado, here's that conversation. Let's go ahead and just kick this off. So Tatiana, how are you doing today? How is Florida? Because Florida is getting destroyed with water, I heard.
The water. Well, let me just say,
Or the
a lot
storm,
of
I guess, and the buildings and the wind.
it is. It's the wind that kills you. Like it's not like I hate to like call like the news a lie. No one knows anything. And I've been here 22 years. I've been through several category 4 and 5 hurricanes. I've actually lived on the beach and we were fine. They say mandatory evacuation. It's really not. It just means no one's coming to save your ass. Basically.
Okay, so if something happens, they're not coming to
Nope, no
you.
one's coming. But
Okay.
yeah, the only mandatory would be like the trailers and mobile homes. And technically they don't make mobile homes and trailers anymore. Like they're trying to get rid of that because we're in Florida.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, everything else is fine right now. I mean, it's just a little wind. It's not bad. It turned and I told everybody, stay put, don't move, because there's been times that I evacuated and it turned and we were stuck in a hotel with nothing. Why not be stuck at home with no lights?
That's a good
Then stuck in a
point.
hotel, sitting in a bed, eating Subway because that's the only thing that's open.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Chinese
no,
food.
absolutely. Well, that's good because one of our hosts for our one of the businesses I have called 32 Warrior Academy, we have a show that's every morning, Monday through Friday on YouTube called Good Morning Crypto. And the host of that show's name is Abdullah. He goes by Abs, and he actually lives in Tampa also. And I texted him yesterday or WhatsApped him yesterday, and he said that he's driving out of town and he won't be back till after the hurricane or whatever.
Which, I mean, yeah, it's true. Yeah. I mean, you can, but like I said, it never hits where it says. It never is hitting how it says. They say, oh, surge 12 feet. And people call me and they're like, oh, is US 19 going to have 7 feet of water? I'm like, no, if that's the case, then I'm going to be underwater in a minute. And I'm like, I'm in a no evacuation zone. It says it right on, I'm in a no flood zone. It's right on my water bill. So,
yeah. So, well, cool. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this and to talk about all of the wonderful things that you have going on. And I know that you have a lot of stuff going on. The first thing that I wanted to talk about was obviously the reason why I know you, and that is because of your Talk Yo Ish podcast.
Yeah.
So what I was hoping you could do is kind of tell us the premise of that podcast and what it is all about, and maybe how often it comes on.
Okay, so Talk Yo Ish was started with me and my cousin, who's also my producer, Brennan Jett. He had his own podcast and he came down to Florida to visit me and saw the life that I was living with working in the clubs as a door girl, having all these pimps and hoes as my friends. So he just couldn't believe it. And he was like, you need to like tell this. I didn't even know what a podcast was, honestly, like 2 years ago, dead ass. So he was like, this is what you should do. I wanted to be on his show, but his people were like, no, it's too racy. So I don't like to be told no. So I started my own. I started in the clubs. I was the first podcast to broadcast live out of any strip club because of the pull that I had. I was thinking like, why do it at home? Why not do it live? And I was doing it in the clubs because managers, I was pulling favors. I've worked 12 years as a door girl here in Florida in all different clubs, and I've never asked for a favor. So I started calling those in. Then I just got more traction as it went.
And real quick, Tatiana, not to cut you off, just in case people don't know, when you say club, what do you mean?
Strip club, gentleman club.
Just wanted to make sure that it's like all adult entertainment.
All adult entertainment,
venues,
nudie club, booty club. Yes. Then I went from there to regular clubs, then bars, then doctor's offices, then dentists, then, everywhere, car shows, hotels.
Yep. You've even done, if I remember correctly, when I was helping you edit the podcast for a little bit, you even did like wasn't there a bodybuilding show or like
we went
like
to
a women's physique show or something.
Fitness. Oh God, she's gonna kill me. So Jen from Florida Legal does fitness. It's like a show. It's like an event where they show off their talent. And they invited me to the hotel. They've never had a podcast. We were in the back. Me and Emily Gugliano. We're in the back. We're doing the pod, and it's funny because like that's one of my favorite episodes because we sound like predators because we're like describing what we're seeing, and all we see is like women just lotioning up. And we're talking about their boobs. And then I was like, well, this just went left.
Yeah. So essentially what you do is, so you interview, not only do you do the podcast out of adult venues, you also interview people inside of that adult space.
Yeah. So we started with the dancers and then the staff. And then there's been some guests that I've known for a long time, like regular customers in the club. Then we went to the owners of the club, and then from there I got to CEOs like you and Bob Shaparty from Spotify, and I just kept reaching people. Raheem from the Furious Five. I've gotten to some people that were like, how did you get a hold of me?
Like,
How do you
did
know me?
phone number?
Yes,
That's
and I'm
funny.
like, don't worry about it.
So,
Even went
how did
internationally to Italy.
so
So
did you used to were you in the adult, like you specifically, and when I say adult entertainment, I mean strip clubs.
yeah,
Were you a dancer at one point in time, or how did you get into being a door girl? Because you've been doing it a
yeah,
long time, and being a part of that, I guess scene, I guess we would
yeah,
say. So
non-voluntarily. My sister started asking for my ID when she moved down here to Florida with me. She was like 16, 17. She was going out and I'm thinking she's going to the club. So I'm giving her my ID. And next thing you know, like I'm getting calls from clubs in Miami that are like, are you going to come dance again? And I was like, dance where? What? So next thing you know, I'm everywhere. People think I'm this big dancer, which I tell everybody on my podcast, I'm handicapped. I walk with a walker. I mean, yeah, there's been times I hit that stage, but people want what they can't have. So they want to see me do something I can't do. Always give the drunkest table dance. And she told my mom, and she had made like, oh my God, thousands of dollars just within, days. And we saw it. And my mom's like, okay, if you're going to do something, let's do it right. Because if we fight her on it, she's just going to do it without us. You know what I'm saying? We wanted to make
Yeah.
sure that we had her under control. So of course I had to watch her. So I'm in the club, I'm watching, I'm there every night. They know who I am. I started throwing her money back on her. So I starting like a war. People would throw more money. I just seen the way it worked. I'm talking to customers, they're buying drinks, they're giving me money. So the owner of the club one day, he didn't have a door girl and he goes, hey, can you count? And I was like, sure. I had been there a couple months, like it was almost a job for me. And
Yeah.
I get up to the front door, not knowing what I'm doing, and I do it. And the next day he called me back and he goes, so we made $700 on a Tuesday, charging $5. He goes, we have never made that before. He said, never. He said, so obviously the door girl's stealing. He goes, she's going to be fired and we're going to hire you 7 days a week. I literally worked at the club 7 days a week for like years, paid off my house, my car, all kinds of stuff,
Wow.
school. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But it
So,
became a
and then
thing for me. I liked it. I was good at it.
yeah,
Very good.
that's really cool. So so since you had never podcasted before, how difficult was it for you to get into the groove of podcasting?
Just the equipment was the part, but
Yeah.
for some reason it like takes over. Like I feel like this is what I was supposed to do. As soon as I hit the mic, because again, being in the club, I was on the mic too as a DJ. I was hosting parties. This was something natural for me. Just to know the routine of how it went. Brennan and you had to, help me. But
Yeah.
otherwise than that, as soon as the mic turns on, for some reason, I turn into a different person. Like I dead ass, like when I'm done, I'm like, what did I just do? Like it almost like it's almost an out of body experience because I'm this whole other person and you can't stop me.
So since you started podcasting, have you started listening to podcasts? Because you mentioned that when you started doing this, you weren't into podcasts. Like, do you listen to podcasts now, or do you just do your podcast, or you watch YouTube, or how do you consume content?
So I literally the only podcast I've ever listened to was yours.
Well, thank
And
you.
then I listened to my own, like not my own on my, but like mine that I do with other people. I know it
Right,
sounds
right.
weird, but I don't know. Like because I'm podcasting all the time. I mean, I'm on episode like 100 and I don't know, some
Right.
five or something.
You do a lot. Yeah.
So I kind of don't one have time, two don't want to hear the radio. Even when in the club when I was working, I would drive to work in silence and people laugh because I'm like, no, I don't want to hear anything. Like I'm done hearing music for 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. Same with talking. I don't want to hear anybody talking for as long as possible. So no, I really haven't. I'm sorry. When people send me their stuff though, I do listen out for a little
Yeah.
bit. I mean, I'm gonna get a good couple minutes in.
No, of course. No, and
Yeah.
and that's cool. And that's the same thing for me. Like I'll listen. So like today I'm doing this from my office in Mesa, but I live in Glendale. And if you're not familiar with Arizona, that's like across the state. It feels like it takes me like an hour drive in traffic to get to this side of,
Yeah.
to our offices in Mesa. And by offices, it's for 3T War Academy, not Age of Radio. But when I'm driving over here, that's mainly the time that I listen to podcasts. There was a time when I would listen to a bunch of it home, but now
Yeah.
since we have so many projects and so much stuff going on and I work so much that I that's the only time that I get to listen to. So I find that kind of happens, that you
Kinda.
kind of like, or you just listen to the ones that you're really in love with. And
Like,
then
I love crime
you don't branch
radio,
off.
like crime
Yeah.
podcasts. That's my thing, especially if I know. I actually hope to be able to get into that later on.
Oh, that'd be
Maybe
cool.
start. We've talked. I don't know. I think I've told you. I'm
Mhm.
really interested. I want to do it. I want to do it right. But oh man, wait till you hear the ideas. Like, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. Like,
So the other reason why I wanted to bring you on is because I know you have a really big project that you're working on that kind of stemmed from your doing your podcast and the amount of people that you know in the adult entertainment dancing business, and that type of scene. And so tell me about the Bells of Tampa Bay. And I have a 30-second clip that I'm going to play, because this is going to be a live action series where you're going to be the main person, I guess, is
yeah,
that it's
yeah,
going to be centered around you, but then the other characters, they're going to change seasonally if it continues to be picked up.
yeah.
Is that
It'll
what's
be
going
like
to happen?
Yeah, like a docu-series. First, it was going to be a reality show, but a lot of that's very scripted, and it's hard to script for strippers. Let me just
Yep.
say. We have a lot of feature girls, porn stars. It's just too much work. I hate to say that. Maybe later on it will, but now as a docu-series, we can showcase a girl for 6 weeks. We can be endless. Yes, the podcast was the main thing. It's Bells of Tampa Bay. I'm the beginning of it. Everybody stems around me. So it starts with me, with the girls in the club, how they help, how they do it, what I do, and then just stems out. And so every time I interview a girl, who knows where I could be interviewing somebody, and then they'll follow her. I'm sure I'll be in every episode, but it's just something that it's unique. No one's ever done it. Charles Maddox, he is the producer. He is the founder because he found me. He's the creator, if you want to call it. He heard my podcast, and he just came to the club to see me live. And right when he walked in, he said he knew that he didn't want to just do like a docu-series on me, or just a documentary on me and my walker, because he does health. He wanted to do it. He just had this idea. He saw dollar signs of everybody walking around, me sitting there
Right.
just in the prime, and we became very good friends. He is the nephew of Bob Marley.
Yep.
So he has a great legacy. He's done like
And he
trial
has
by
a very
fire.
famous documentary on diabetes, I think. Is that?
Yes.
Yes,
Reverse.
that's actually award-winning documentary on
Yes.
diabetes and reversing diabetes.
Yes.
Which
Reverse
is
the
really,
church.
really amazing.
Reverse. Yeah. Trial by fire. He's acted. Yes, he's won Emmys. He's done a lot. He's actually doing his single now because he's back to singing. And
nice.
it's called Why Eternal. And
He went on the Shizzle. Did you introduced him to Dax from the Shizzle show, right? And he went on the Shizzle show recently. And I bring that up because the Shizzle show, is that what it's called? The Shizzle show? Yeah.
It's Shizzle show.
Okay, so but you're on that show also too, right?
All the time.
Yeah, not to go on. I'll mention that after we do this clip.
Yeah.
But so real quick, I want to play this clip. First thing I'm going to say is the only person that is going to be allowed to probably do adult content on Age of Radio is probably going to be you. And then if we do anything else, it'll probably be a spinoff under something that has to do with Tatiana, as far as like a Tokyo-ish network or something along those lines. Mainly because Age of Radio is really about. I don't want to say that it's just I don't want to say that it's just about family. And I'm going to play a clip here, but it's a broad thing. And
wait, did you know when I first started? Did you really understand what this was about or no?
Yeah, I did. Okay. But the thing was, when you started, there was a lot of things that weren't clear as far as what was happening in my life, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
So like,
yes, I caught you.
Because at that time, so if people don't know, so I have here in Mesa, just to kind of give you an idea, we have I'm in my office here, but this one facility that we have is 3,700 feet or square feet. And then it connects to a gym that's another 2,700 square feet next door. Right.
Ooh,
and so when we started, well, I'm sorry.
Sweaty man next door.
Yes. So we have a private gym. We have our offices where we're going to have like our conferences moving forward. And so when we were doing this, it was just all about the fitness center.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know that it was going to morph into this thing that had to do with teaching crypto courses, helping people the way that we do inside of our academy. The podcast I was just like, anybody can come on, and still anybody can come on. And I don't have a problem taking on whatever it is. And just just how it gets branded, I guess, might be a little bit different. Because we want things to be open for everybody, because we have so many projects coming out and we want them to be able to cross go. And so I don't want a place where, you know, something's going to be just 18 and up or 21 and up, and then you know, kids can't come.
I've forced you to create the X factor on that side. I'll have the little, which I love that. And thank you so much. That really like brings tears to my eyes that you want to do that it's me, like I'm the pioneer, the first, and then everybody else be under me. Haha, bitches. No, I'm joking. But
yeah, because you need to have, and it's a good brand like what you have, especially because we haven't talked about everything that you have going on, which we will, but like everything that you're trying to do. And if we can get it to those places and you can get it to those places, I think it would make more sense. Right, rather than just being under Age of Radio, which is a family type of entertainment. Like, it's about entertainment for families. Unless your family is going to go to a strip club together.
I feel like you're like a block. No, I feel like you're a Blockbuster, and I'm like that room behind the curtains. I'm okay.
Right. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
That's what I am. And then anybody who's got anything is going to be ushered in. I'm honored. That is like my thing. Like, I'm used to being the ushered room.
Okay, so tell me. So in this clip, I'm going to play this clip. This clip's clean.
30 seconds.
Mine says 30 seconds.
Mine are clean.
So the premise of it, though, real quick, just to make sure people have understanding, is that the docuseries is going to follow your life and then different people that are in the adult entertainment industry in some capacity. And then it's going to talk about like their struggles and trials and tribulations and what's going on in their life, right?
Actually follow them. Yes. Because people, it's not going to be so much as them in the club. It's going to be more of them behind the scenes, because people want to know like what's going on at home, how, you know, all of that. It'll start there always, and you'll see what they do for a living. But then it will, you know, because we weren't trying to, we aren't glamorizing anything. We're just showing the actual truth. That's it.
Yep. Cool. All right. So I'm going to actually, I'm going to do this here. I'm going to start playing it. Hopefully the sound's coming through. Actually, I forgot. It got to be over here playing it.
My podcast is called Talk Your Ish. It's about the girls in the club. What do you think we're talking about today? What's up, guys?
I used to be a dominatrix.
At first, I was like, hell no.
Yeah, let me show you something. Life isn't always good. I miss my clothes. Why sex tapes?
You gotta ignore the haters. These girls are real. Like, I want to know what a porn star does in the grocery store.
So does it touch on that? What they do in the can you hear me? Tatiana? Tati, can you hear me, or did the sound click off? Yeah, I cannot hear you. Hold on. It says your mic got disconnected. It is all good. We'll do the clip one more time for fun. It'll give me practice. So anyways, during this time, though, since while we wait for Tatiana to reconnect, essentially that was the Belles of Tampa Bay. And essentially, purpose of what's going on in that docuseries is it's following all of those women through what they are doing in their lives, what happens in their lives that makes their lives interesting, and the things that kind of showing them that they're also individuals that are going through things as well in their respective industries. So that being said, I'm not sure if what happened with Tatiana. She's give me 1 second. Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. I had to kick Tatiana out to get her back into the studio. And there she is.
Okay.
All right. I don't know what happened. But I guess my question is, when I was playing that, were you able to hear it?
Yes, I heard it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's cool. So are those all of the girls that are going to be in it as you move forward? Because I
Yes.
know it's been a while when you did this piece of it, and then you actually started doing it with everybody.
Yes.
Or like, I'm sorry, as you started raising money, and then now that you're going to be doing more of the actual content.
Yeah. Now, logistics of it, the girls can change at any time because it's been some time. There is one or two girls that I can't seem to get a hold of anymore.
Got it.
And we can't wait for everyone. So, I mean, that was the trailer. Now we're doing a pilot, and then we're gonna be contracted for like 6 episodes. So,
Got it.
pretty much
Where's
yeah.
so you're going to record it. You're going to record it for the 6 episodes, and then they're going to go try to sell it, right? So you
Yes,
don't know what
basically.
network it's going to be on yet.
Well, I know that they're
And if you can't say anything, I understand.
I don't know if I can or not. I just know Charles has relationships with network with the Hulu, Netflix,
Got it.
Zeus. He has a lot of different networks that he has relationships with. So we're in good hands as far as that.
Cool. And
It
so
will
if
be
you
on a
guys
network.
if you guys want to see a longer version of that's 13 minutes where you can get a really big deep dive, the 30-second was probably taken from the content from the longer version, the longer promo version, right?
Yeah.
And so if you want to see that full version and get a better, deeper dive into it, go over to Talk Yo Ish on YouTube. It can be a little bit difficult to find, so I would recommend type in Tampa,
The
Bells of Tampa Bay. So here, let me put that here.
Yep. BELLES. Bells of Tampa Bay.
Let's see. BELLES.
Yep. Bells of Tampa Bay. A lot of my other friends have that on their page also. For some reason, Trap God comes up first. Trap God Kurt.
Yeah. So Bells of Tampa Bay, if you find that, you'll eventually find Tatiana, but we're working on trying to make her more searchable on YouTube because I think it's a little bit of the spelling, and then there's other Tokyo-ish, so we have to figure that part out.
Yeah, I'm the only ISHH. Everybody else is like ISH.
Which I would think that would make it easier for you to find, because if I put an ISHH, then you would come up, but that's not necessarily always.
And pretty much, I think when I searched, I'm the only LLC. A lot of the Tokyo-ish LLCs are inactive. I'm the only active one that I found.
Okay, that's cool. That might be a good way to look it up.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you have your podcast going on. You have this show you have your filming for this. And by the way, you might have mentioned this, but I might have missed it. When is the show, or when is the filming start?
In about 2 months. Now that this hurricane's here, this is pushing us back another 2 weeks off of for the 2 months. So I was hoping December, but it might be in January. It shouldn't take us more than a month or two. So I'm hoping before summer that everything should drop. I know that I keep telling people, it's coming, but it's coming. Usually shows take a couple years to get going, and this has actually been pretty fast traction.
Sweet. Okay, cool. So you have that going on. You have your podcast going on, but then you also do the Shizzle radio show.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, how did that come about, and how do people listen to that?
So I just was looking, people were telling me to get on other podcasts. I believe it was you who mentioned try to get on other podcasts. I think it was you. So I'm searching for ones out here. I came across Sugar Shack, and she's a good friend. She's beautiful, body like a goddess, and I'm like, oh wow, she's on a show. So I Googled the show, the Shizzle Show, and it was in Tampa. So I wrote them both a message, and Dex contacted me and was like, would you come on the show? So I got to the show just like a week later, and he kind of like was like, we think Sugar Shack is leaving. She'd been there for a long time, and he was looking for another co-host. As much as I wanted to co-host with him, it's like 45 minutes from my house, and I had a lot going on because I do the podcast physically all by myself, besides my husband helping me. But here, so I told him I just can't make a commitment to do that. But I said I'll be on there as often as you want, and we exchange guests, and I'm also on the M25 show, which is out of California. Which
I didn't know that. What show is that?
The M25 show is a morning show that's in California, with a couple other people on there. Steve, Eddie, Alyssa. Oh God, I don't remember. I'm so sorry to remember your last name.
I'm the worst at that. So I'll be like, yeah, this person really helped me out. They were amazing. Their name was
Blake.
I forgot. Yeah.
I always do that. I'm sorry. But they were another one that I reached out to that were so friendly. I'm always on their show. I bring a lot of guests out there. Also the Scott Hamilton show. He is oh man, it's a radio show that's up in like Idaho or Minnesota, and they get like 10,000 listeners. They've been on for like 15 years.
So you record. So, but the recording for those is all separate recordings.
No, it's live.
Well, no, I know that. So you go
Oh.
live on all of those radio shows, right?
Yep.
Once a week. So how long is your spot on Dax's show?
So Dax, like I said, that's it. These are all sporadically, spontaneous. It's when they want me to come on, or if I call and I got something going on. So basically, there's no schedule, but pretty much like once a month, I'm on those shows. Scott Hamilton, he has a really big schedule, so like I'm only on his show every couple months. But there are other podcasts that come through that call and they want me to go on, and I mean, I don't mind being a return guest. I always feel like I don't want anybody to get bored. So I'm like, but they want me to come on with the girls or with the guests that I have, which again, I find it kind of I'm honored because I don't really see a lot of other podcasters coming out like a momager on all. I mean, even the girls are like, no, I'll be on the side and they'll call. They're like, no, she's right here. And I'm like, but wait, this is your time. Yeah. And again, they bring me on. I guess it's these.
So do you think that it makes it easy? Well, I guess my problem, do you think that people try to like, have you ever felt that like people try to like use you to get to all of the women that you know?
Oh, 100%. And we it's not a secret. They will say like, hey, like this is it. Like we want you all the time because you got the girls. Like this is something that I've always known and always had. This is what I did in the clubs. We ran girls through parties. So I know that I'm always the manager and the liaison in between. Yeah. That's my foot in the door. If I didn't have that, I'm bringing something to the table that's very, very important. Yeah. Like I'm podcast trafficking.
You mentioned that what is it, Matt? What's Bob Marley's nephew's name? It's
Charles.
Charles, yeah. So Charles, I can remember the Maddock. I can never remember his first name. So Charles, when he originally went to you, he was trying to. I didn't know this part. He was trying to reach out to you because of the fact that you have the walker.
Yeah, and he was thinking of a health documentary. And he didn't even know he was coming to a club. Emily, my best friend, she's playmate. She invited him out there through her Water Org nonprofit organization. That's how she met him. And he pulled up, and I guess he didn't know it was a strip club in Atlantic. And I texted him. I said, "Listen, I'll come outside. If you're a family man, He said, "No, fuck that. I'm coming outside. Coming inside." So he came in and, you could tell they had their masks on, him and his partner, and they were a little hesitant, but as soon as they saw me on the mic within 15 minutes, they jumped on and they had fun and we talked for like 45 minutes. Right after that, he said, listen, he said, I kind of have other ideas. So when he got home that night, he called me. It was the next night. It was like 12 o'clock at night. And I answered him like, what's up? And he's like, hey, listen, I can't sleep. He's like, we're going to do a reality show. I've got an idea. And that's how that spawned. Now we do plan on doing documentaries about my health, maybe about my husband's health.
So do you feel comfortable talking about your health? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
So what is that? What happened specifically, or what are we talking about?
Okay, so I had a tumor in the cerebellum, which is like the base of your skull. And when I was 10 years old, and it went misdiagnosed by the doctors for almost a whole year, I almost died. They thought I was having headaches and throwing up because my parents were getting divorced, and they just thought I was a rich, spoiled kid, which my mother knew it wasn't true. But my mother's from Italy. She did not know that you can make the doctor give you an MRI. We didn't know back in the early 90s that you could tell your doctor, what you need.
You need something. Yeah.
We weren't entitled back then like we are now. So I was a dancer. I had a modeling contract signed. I was going to be I was signed with Wilhelmina in New York. I was on my way. But literally I just passed out one day coming home from dance and went into convulsions and seizures. And by the time I got to the hospital, I had zero body fat. I was 10. So no oxygen to your brain burns fat and then muscle. I had no fat, so it burnt muscle. So it just burnt like one side of my back. My legs got really small. Like I looked weird. And my balance was gone because the muscles in my stomach were like relaxed. Nerve endings, they still don't know where my nerve endings are. I just have this weird hypersensitivity that I actually feel everything. People are like, "Oh, does your vagina work?" And actually, it's everything's a hyper.
Right.
I call it peanut butter and jelly. I can pull my legs back, but I can't straighten them out by myself.
Yeah.
Like I can move my toes down, but not up. It's
Yeah.
weird. I was in medical books. They don't know why I'm the way I am.
Has that been like now? Obviously, you haven't let it set you back, but did it take a while before you like moved past that because you got up pretty young?
Nope. My mom didn't play that handicap shit. She didn't play that card. So right away when the ladies came to the house, I was in the hospital a year to even be
Oh
able
my
to sit up.
gosh.
And yeah, I was in all children's for a year. It was terrible. But I had to learn how to do things. And when the ladies brought me home, they released me. They wanted to put in like all these special things. And my mom goes, nope. The only special thing she'll have is, the special part of my car. And that was it. That was it. And a shower bench. My mom didn't allow anything else because she said, I always tell you that I fit the world doesn't fit me. And she's
Yep.
like, what happens when she leaves this house? What is she going to do? And
Yep.
that actually helped me. I mean, my mom pushed me like no other. It's not that I was never mad because in high school I was a cheerleader. I was varsity.
Yeah.
I did flag squad, I choir,
Yeah. So you didn't let
volleyball.
it do anything to
Oh,
you,
no. I was
essentially. Yeah.
probably the most athletic person you've ever met in a chair. Like, I also was a bully. And my mom's like, "How are you handicapped and you're a bully? This is ridiculous."
That's fun.
My
That's
yearbook
fun.
is littered with me. I know those people were like, "Get this bitch out of here."
So okay, so we had so you do the stuff with Dax, you do your show, your podcast show, you have the new live series coming up, but you've also recently, and again, we try to keep this, I'm trying to keep the show between 30 and
Yeah.
45 minutes here. So we're
Yep.
past the 30-minute mark,
Yep.
but I do
I can
want to
go
touch
to
on some more of the stuff that you have going on. So you also just released a lip gloss
Yes, it's called
line,
Ishh Gloss.
lipstick line. What is
Yes, it's lip gloss. It's just a shine, glimmer, all different colors, but they're light colors. It's Ishh Gloss. I want all the girls to be able to have their own limited edition where
Yeah.
their face is on there, their body's on there because everybody wants it. The girls are going to promote better when they're on that.
Yeah.
I also have my own private one it's Ishh Gloss, but it's just my logo. And when you open it, dang, I wish I had it with me. When you open it, it lights up. It's LED. So in
Oh,
the
that's really
club,
cool. So that's actually really cool. Do you have them? Are they ready for sale yet, or where are
okay,
you at in this line?
no, not ready for sale yet. What I'm doing is the label. I'm just getting the labels right so they don't look like I made them at home. And
Right.
because I had to get someone to actually make the products for me and ship it over. And I'm just waiting because I actually wasn't planning on selling them. I actually was gonna just give them away, giveaways and all that. And if someone wants to donate in the club, because I figure when you come and do your podcast, I'm gonna give you Ishh Gloss. And then the girls have their own, which if they want to go into sale with me later, then we can. Then we'll have to sit down with contracts because these girls, a lot of them they're copyrighted, they're patent, they're trademark.
Yeah.
So I can't just put them on there, even though, legally I want to
Yeah,
make
yeah,
sure
yeah.
I'm right. I have
Yeah,
a Jet Balm coming out too, which is for guys. It's just a chapstick for guys. And in honor of Brennan, I'm putting his little logo on
his
there with the
little
sheep.
logo.
Yeah. So
Does
when
he
guys
still do his podcast? Because I don't pay. I'll be honest. There's so many stuff going on.
I
I've
don't
not seen it if he does.
Yeah, I don't think he does.
Yeah,
I know they stopped a while ago, just because he got super busy with my
busy. Yeah, with
podcast,
life.
our podcast. Yeah,
Yeah,
because we have stepped up and, have been doing more and more. I mean, I demand a lot from him,
right,
but
right.
I promise him
So
a lot in return. I demand a lot from you too, but I promise you, it's gonna
it's all
pay
gonna
off.
pay off. Hey, I'm in things for the long haul. I'm not like. I mean, I always say yes. I understand that money is very beneficial, and without it, I wouldn't be afforded all the stuff that I have now, which
Yeah,
came with a lot of ridiculously hard work. But
yeah,
I just enjoy doing business stuff.
yeah,
Like, and the thing about that though is that it's fortunate that those things bring money, right? So I
yeah,
mean, I just I don't do the thing for the money itself. I do the thing because I want to solve a problem. And
yeah.
then by doing that, when you solve the bigger the problem that you solve, traditionally the more money that you're going to make.
Well,
And
I
so
love that. And I love the business aspect of the podcast, of the advertising. I never thought I would, but I actually really do.
yeah, we
Um,
just need to get better at it.
yeah, yeah, we need to get better at. I do
Well,
like
I
it.
take that back. Not better at it. We have to figure out more time because I have too many projects going on. So I'm trying to get my cousin Jackie, who helps me with a lot of Age of Veda stuff,
Yes.
to start selling that stuff. And then we have a Lilo thing that they reached out to me about actually to see if they wanted women to test a new product and review it. So I
Yeah.
need to reach back out to them about that. And so, yeah, so there's just a lot going on, but we get there.
All right. Well, put me in mind for that. Well, I also started.
No, you are the one in mind for that.
I am the one. Yay! Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Lilo, I'm coming for you.
So,
I also have my OnlyFans that I started,
yeah.
which it's the craziest thing. Like the girls will be able to do the podcast naked. The girls will be able to be naked. So that's something that they love to do. I'm always constantly telling them, please don't get naked on here because we're on Facebook or somewhere that you can't. Try not to get banned. So it's Tokyo-ish / OnlyFans.
All right. Well, Tatiana, I appreciate you. Is there any last things that you want to add on?
No, I just need everybody to subscribe to me on YouTube, Tokyo-ish. That's ISHH. If you can't find me on any of that, you can email me, tokyoish@yahoo.com. Contact Jeremy or Tokyo-ish on any platform, Twitter, everything you can think of, TikTok, all of it.
And then also too, her podcast is wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah.
So Tokyo-ish, same spelling.
Oh, wait. I'm also on 88.9. It's the radio station. Yes, that was the big one. So I got offered
88.9 though, where at in Florida?
So it's 88.9 The Mix online.
Got it. Okay.
Actually in Lynchburg, Virginia, but for all of us, it's online. Yeah.
Yep.
So
cool.
I'm on there with DJ H. Vidal. He's a longtime friend. Used to work at Wild 98, all the stations out here and everywhere. And he asked me to do the Tokyo-ish news. And that's what I do. I do Tokyo-ish twice a day on there. So that's just another thing. I'm doing like 15, 20 reads a week. So
you're doing so much stuff. So anyways, well, thank you so much, Tatiana. I love you. I appreciate you. And again, if you're watching this and you can just be a part of this Facebook group. If you have a project or you have something that you want to come up and talk about, please reach out to me. I believe that the next person that we're going to have on is going to be August 5th or maybe the following Wednesday. Not 100% sure on the August date yet, but it will be, I believe, from the gentleman from Run Runners, but you will see that posted here. So again, remember, be thankful, grateful, and kind, and I will talk with you next time, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you. Let the Run Runner know I want to be on that show. I emailed them.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yes, I did.
They will get you on. You just keep doing it, and they're great guys too. So they used to be part of the network, and then big things started happening for them. So they went and started doing their own thing. So, and we always
put my name in. I emailed them
to be successful. So they're more than welcome to stay, be a part of the Facebook group, and advertise their stuff. So, all right, guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye. I hope that you enjoyed that podcast. I had a great time recording it with her for our very first showcase on our Facebook group, Addicted to Podcasting by Age of Radio. Make sure that you head on over to Facebook, search Addicted to Podcasting, join it, be part of the conversation, whether you have a blog, a book, music group, make music, a YouTube channel, whatever. It's really for content creators, but we kept the name Addicted to Podcasting, and we're really trying to get more and more conversation going in there. And if you don't have any of those, come and join it so you can learn about new projects that are coming out from content creators that maybe you'll enjoy, and then you can find a whole new world. A whole new world can be opened up to you with it. So I'd really appreciate if you did that. And then also, it would be great if you follow Tatiana wherever you get your podcast. The podcast is called Tokyo-ish. That's talk and then yo, and then ish is ISHH in this case. And then go onto all the social media platforms and type in Tokyo-ish as well, ISHH. So Tokyo-ish, ISHH, and follow Tatiana. She has a growing following. She does a lot of funny stuff on her social media platforms, so I would greatly appreciate that. And then, as always, make sure that you like and subscribe to our podcast. Make sure that you rate the podcast so we can get it in front of more people. And remember, be thankful, grateful, and kind. We'll talk with you next time. Have a great day. Bye. if you could go ahead and like this podcast and subscribe to it wherever you're listening to it, and go ahead and rate this podcast in your favorite podcatcher, I'd greatly appreciate it. As a reminder, the intro song was from a band called Spanish Love Songs and their song Brave Faces Everyone. The closing song that you're listening to kind of right now is Illuminati Hotties, threatening each other re-capitalism. I record on Neumann microphones. I record on Zoom Lab L8s, or on the Zoom Lab L8, and I record using Steinberg's Cubase, so go make sure that you check out those products. And again, remember, be thankful, grateful, and kind, and we'll talk with you next time. Bye.
Okay, everybody, it's Michael E. Cullen II.
And I'm Sesame and Carta from the All Too Real 2 podcast. We're passionate about movies, TV, and pretty much all things pop culture.
Dive into the chaos of failed sitcoms, direct-to-video sequels, and the quirky realms of cinema and TV.
Join us every Thursday for your dose of All Too Real 2 entertainment.
We'll guide you through debates like whether Howard the Duck qualifies as a superhero.
Ponder if Larry the Cable Guy could be the new Rock or Schwarzenegger.
Discover if some shows and movies should have stayed in the cutting room.
Ever heard of a sitcom featuring that dictator with the funny mustache? Well, we watched it.
We're dedicated to unraveling the peculiarities of pop culture, sometimes with awesome guests.
So, if you're into the eccentric world of pop culture,
listen and subscribe to All Too Real 2.
Available wherever you find podcasts
and on Age of Radio.